Camera's on fire.
Alrighty, welcome back everybody. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Cop showed up. He's a friend of the family. Got kids same age. I was bullshitting with him the other day. He said that his dad had bought an air gun and they were having some trouble with it. Couldn't hit shit. Having some issues. Couldn't really dial down what the problem was. Asked if I'd take a look at the gun. I obliged. So, here it is. We got here the Hatsan Carnivore 135. It is a 30 caliber break barrel pellet gun. Unfortunately, it's got a few issues. Nothing we can't figure out and look past. Let's check it out.
Okay. A little bit dinking around. Super cheap, super flimsy, $12 red dot from Walmart. See if we can hit them lighters. About 13 yards maybe. Pretty sure this super cheap sight is sliding on the rail here, so I'll be impressed if I can hit this with a second one. Two for two, baby. Okay. Close range. But still possible. Proves my theory that the gun is good. The barrel is accurate. But the shroud is bent. You can just see the barrel shroud is bent a little bit to the right. I had to pull out the insides of the suppressor. I think they call it the quiet air system. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure something on it. It probably says it on here somewhere. But anyways, there's a couple baffles and cloths to go over it. Strippers, basically. A couple baffles and strippers in there. And I know you can't see it because of the reflection. But that's okay. But I pulled those out on the end cap. You can see where the pellets are striking the end cap right there, down by my thumb. It was shaving just enough off the pellets that was changing their trajectory and deforming them. But every shot was clipping the end of that final end cap. So I just pulled the guts of the suppressor out and I've been shooting it. And she's a little tack driver for 30 cal. I mean, that's a big ass hunk of lead you're chucking right there. Look at them pellets. That's ridiculous. A little cheap $12 Gammo red dot on there, and it's actually a green dot. But the barrel isn't bent, or you wouldn't have repeatable accuracy. It's just the shroud. But I mean, I got both the lighters, so it's accurate. Just needed a little help. There's a few options here. This is when I just threw the red dot down there. I was sighting it in. It was first shot, second shot, third shot, fourth shot, fifth shot, sixth shot. 30 cal. All right, let's do some more shooting. Wonder what this does to one of those beer cans up there in the line. All I'm doing here is I'm using my Phillips head screwdriver to seat that pellet in just a little bit so it doesn't catch on the way down. All right, let's try. Eat them again, Ike. This time put some stank on it. Just a little bit. I can see the holes that's ripping in it right there. Let's take a look. It's a fucking beast of a gun, I can tell you that. Those are entries. Some giant exit wounds in there. Oh, that's a lot of energy. Crap ton of energy right there. Okay, so these were the parts that were basically removed from the suppressor. You can see we got a couple baffles, a couple air strippers, pads, and the end cap, which you can see where where the pellets were striking it. Now, when I took this end cap off, I must have pulled 30 or 40 large shavings of lead out of the end of the barrel. You know, it just kind of fell out into my hand or whatever when I was dicking with it. So it was 100% just shaving off a little bit off every pellet you shot. And they were all hitting right there on the bottom. And was enough to affect their trajectory. So all I did was to ensure that it was just the shroud or suppressor that was bent, not the barrel, because the barrel actually ends right in here somewhere. So the bend to me looks like it's coming from the very end of the gun, so more just the shroud and not the barrel. But to confirm it was the shroud and not the barrel, took everything out of the inside and I shot a few rounds through it, hoping that, you know, if the barrel's bent, it's going to cause the pellet to warp, because the pellet's going to come through and catch that bend as it's spinning, and it's just going to put undue warping on the pellet, which will usually cause them to corkscrew or just altogether throw their accuracy off. And I was able to zero it at 10 yards. I stepped back to 15. It was still tack driving. I stepped back to about 20, and I was still hitting where I was aiming. So the fact that the pellets aren't corkscrewing and they aren't hitting anything else on the inside and they're coming out and shooting straight tells me that the barrel is likely straight and there's nothing wrong with the barrel. It's just that last end of the shroud is cocked a little bit to the right, which throws the center of the end cap over to the right a little bit, and it's causing the pellets to you know, catch it on the way through. So there's a few different solutions they can go with. Some of them I recommend and some of them I don't. If this were my gun, I would probably try to, by hand, bend that back slightly. You may not be able to because of the way it's designed. I don't know how it was bent in the first place. I guess it could have been dropped, or I don't see any indication on the gun itself or the barrel. No scratches to say that it was dropped. It could be a manufacturer defect. It could be a few different reasons. But I would personally, if it was for my gun, try to bend that back a little bit by hand. And if it can't be bent by hand, then I would just, either you could, you know, hone out the inside of this and make this end cap opening a little bit bigger. and that way your pellets aren't striking it. Obviously, it would affect the volume because this does quiet it down quite a bit. It is quite a bit louder with the components out, but not a lot. So in reality, you could just keep that off of there. You could also possibly even order just a new shroud, because it looks like there's a nut on the inside that holds the shroud to the barrel. So if you take that nut off, you should be able to remove that barrel, or remove the shroud, and then you could put a new one on there. Or you could send it back. You could send it back, explain to them what the problem is. They could fix it and send it back to you. You'd be out of gun for a while, I'm sure. But, you know, there's a few different options. Try to hand bend it, hone out the end, send it back. Or you could even just do as I'm doing now and shoot it the way it is with the guts out of it. You know, it's a little bit louder, and it's not really any huge inconvenience, to be honest with you. But you could just leave it the way it is and shoot it like this, because it's not affecting the accuracy of the gun in its current condition. But anyways, rambling on, getting onto it. This is just a quick look at it. Like I said, it's a friend's. It's his dad's. He dropped it off for me to look at, see if I could diagnose what some of the issues were. I've diagnosed the issues. Hopefully we can get it back to them and get it working. Maybe we'll get lucky and get a chance to look at it a little bit more in depth, doing some shooting with it and getting some crony numbers and such. We'll see how long I have it for. Not sure, but thought I'd let you know and have you take a quick peek at it. It's a hell of a gun. It takes some effort to cock it for sure. Definitely not for a kid. Anyways, thanks for watching. Staying tuned. On to the next adventure.